The digital asset space is going to be integrated all the more into our economy with this upcoming legislation that is soon to become law with the Genius Act, and how stable coins are going to be issued and going to be integrated into the economy. This is massive, and we got to talk about it. Shalom, beautiful people. Welcome to the MoneyPot channel, where we talk about digital assets and cryptocurrency, these unprecedented times that we're living in, and much, much more. All praise be to the Most High. Hallelujah. Hope that you're having a blessed day. And I greatly appreciate you for clicking on this video, where we're going to be talking about this Genius Act and how stablecoins are going to get introduced into the economy. It's only right that we start off with going to the Most High's word, so I can just share a little bit of my perspective on what is going on here and what we are seeing. But it is vital that we exercise discernment during these times. Proverbs 27, verse 12. A prudent man sees evil and hides himself and avoids it, but the naive continue on and are punished. Why did I choose this verse in talking about this? You see, this Genius Act is legislation on stablecoins, legislation on who can issue stablecoins, legislation on what backs these stablecoins. And as we'll talk about here in the video, this is one way, a subtle way for these central bank digital currencies to be introduced into the economy. And this is just my opinion. But we are soon to see, digital assets and blockchain technology integrated into our lives all the more. I heard one senator say this act, and from a hearing, this is pushing the United States into the forefront of Web3, to be leaders in AI, to be leaders in cryptocurrency. And we know what that is all about. It's all hidden behind this veil of control and of a desire for power and to be monitoring everybody. So we must be mindful of these times and how this legislation is going to bring about these stablecoins, but subsequently our loss of purchasing power. Okay. So just want y'all to be mindful of that. Okay. Please just be mindful of these times that we're living in, and use wisdom, use discernment. Do not be easily misled by just focusing on the price of Bitcoin going up to $500,000 or going to all-time highs. Don't focus on the infrastructure that's being laid. What XRP is doing, what these ISO 2022 coins are doing, what the World Bank is putting out, what the IMF is putting out. Realize that's how they're moving. There's all these distractions with Elon Musk and Trump, and with Bitcoin reaching all-time highs. There's all these distractions, but the foundation, the infrastructure is being laid. Be mindful of it. Use discernment and realize that this new financial system, this B system, is getting integrated right before our very eyes. And they're putting legislation on the books with this Genius Act. So be mindful of it. So we'll talk about it here a little bit more. But this is going to bring all the more money into the digital asset space. Right now, it's only at about $3 trillion, but it's going to transform the digital asset space with this stable coin issuance. We're going to see trillions of dollars coming into the space. Experts are predicting hundreds of trillions of dollars, whether it's through real estate, whether it's through bonds and commodities. All of these assets and value is going to be brought onto the blockchain, and be mindful of it, especially with the issuance of stablecoins. It's my thought that various companies are going to issue their stablecoins, whether it's banks and financial institutions or even retailers like Amazon, Target, because they just love that consumer loyalty. And blockchain is giving them the ability to issue their own stablecoins. So just be mindful. Just be mindful of what is going on. All right. I want to pull up this video here of a senator talking about the Stablecoin Act and how it is, making its way downtown, walking fast, faces past, and it's homebound. No, but talking about it's very close approval, and what it is, what's been going on in the Senate. So let me pull this up here and let's take a listen to what Senator Loomis has to say.
We will start voting on the Genius Act, the stablecoin bill, this week. I don't think we're going to complete it this week. We'll probably have to go into next week because a number of amendments will be filed. But we have worked long and hard to bring Democrats to the place where they can vote for cloture. I think we're there.
So what are the remaining hurdles for Democrats? What have they told you that their concerns are? What's keeping them from getting on board completely?
Well, we have generally
Right
agreed
wing, left
to
wing,
many
same
of the
evil bird.
amendments they wanted. There were concerns about illicit finance. We've addressed some of
She said that with a
those.
smile.
And we're just waiting to see what amendments are filed by both parties as we move the bill to full consideration on the floor of the Senate. One of the things that I'm looking for is whether the Durbin-Marshall bill, it will be attempted to attach to the stablecoin bill. It's not about stablecoins, it's about credit card swipe fees, but this bill may be seen as a vehicle to attach, and that would be a heavy lift to take a bill that already has been carefully negotiated and add a new subject that is that controversial.
So just one more on the timeline here for the American people who are watching and listening right now. In your view, what sort of week or month could this bill actually become law?
Well, we're going to pass it next week.
Okay.
And so it will provide new markets for U.S. treasuries. It will help protect the U.S. dollar as the world reserve currency. It will provide a way for something like a traveler's check to be used digitally. It's pegged to the dollar, so it's sort of it's a payment stablecoin, something that can be used for payments in a digital format. This is going to create more versatility for the U.S. economy and move us into the 21st century.
For the world.
Very, very interesting. Make sure y'all drop y'all's thoughts and comments on what Senator Loomis just said in the comments below. It's just interesting. A couple of things that I noticed that she mentioned. First off, that they're working bipartisanly, they're working together, working with Democrats, Republicans working together to get this bill passed. She seems very optimistic that it's going to pass this upcoming week. So we'll have to be mindful of that. Also, she talked about how this is going to be a payment stablecoin and it's going to be tied to the United States dollar. It's going to give the dollar a lot more versatility and allow for U.S. treasuries to reach new markets. Very, very interesting. Be mindful that, this is just one way to slowly introduce these central bank digital currencies and all that comes with them. Whether they call it CBDCs, whether they call it stable coins, whether they, call it, the JP Morgan Chase coin, we must realize that with these laws being put on the books, they're going to be federally regulated. They are going to have the oversight of the federal government and its subsequent agencies. So be mindful of all that is being talked about. I'm gonna put a link in the description below to like an overview of the stablecoin legislation and what is to come. But a couple of things. Realize that it's not going to just be banks that are issuing these stablecoins. Your favorite retailers are going to want to issue stablecoins so that they can increase loyalty, so that they can have their own stablecoins that can reach new markets. And they're likely going to be tied to the value of an asset, most likely United States treasuries, and likely just pegged to the United States dollar bill. Be mindful as well that these stable coins are going to have to be issued on certain blockchains, on a ledger, on a blockchain ledger. They're not going to go out and build their own ledger. They're going to build a ledger. They're going to build on a ledger that's already existing and that's already has all this value already tied up into it so that they can be able to transfer things a lot smoother and quicker. For example, maybe it's the Stellar Lumens blockchain. Maybe it's the Ripple ledger, or maybe another ISO 20022 ledger. This is happening. The partnerships have already been established. It's just a matter of time before we start to see these major retailers, these banks, and depository institutions issuing stable coins. Don't think it's strange. Be wise and mindful of these times that we're living in and how they are going to slowly manifest into this beast system where people are not able to buy or sell unless they have a certain mark. This is why it's important to have cold storage. This is why it's important to be aware of this new financial system that's coming in. Make sure y'all drop some comments. I might do another video on the Genius Act and touching on it a little bit deeper, but just wanted to give y'all like a high level overview of what is to come. And how the digital asset space is going to get bombarded with a whole lot of noise, value, transactions. But behind it, we see if the foundations be destroyed, how can the righteous prosper? Like, dislike, share, subscribe, do what you do, but we appreciate you. And until next video, make sure you stay blessed, stay healthy, and stay prayed up. Peace.